and you go, oh, there's so many white people here. What are they doing here? They always tell me to go back to Africa, but they here.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm like, what? Oh, they're taking everything. Oh, wait, Africa got everything. Yeah. All these minerals and resources.
Oil and gas.
Oh, my, isn't that how Elon got rich, too?
Yeah.
Off of stealing from Africa. So I'm like, wow, they're stealing everything. Our cell phones work because of Africa. This worked because of Africa. And they've been shitting on this continent, which is the second largest, which on the map they make look small. The Mercator projection, they make it look real tiny, and it can fit
massive.
and it can fit almost all of these other continents. Right. And Europe is really not a continent; it's like a peninsula, but it really is. Technically, it really is. So, and Africa, I'm like, wow, all of these resources and the beach. I mean, have you seen the footage of Ghana and all? They've been lying.
Amazing.
But everybody that's not African is over there hanging out, taking shit, and keeping us out of there.
Right.
And then to top it off, they've bordered Africa where you can't even go to a neighboring country. But in Europe, you can take the train to Italy, like I've done.
Right.
But in Africa, they boarded it up. The Europeans came and boarded shit up so Africans can't reach other Africans. This guy named Ajwa Kwesi, I'll never forget him, taught us about and I had Egyptology at the university, and I'm learning real shit from this guy. He was teaching us the real shit.
Yeah.
And so when I went to class, I was a problem for my professor. He was like, so in Egypt, I said, that's not the truth. I said, this is what happened. I said, the actual Nubians are the original Egyptians, except you guys were invaded from there's Saudi Arabia. The Arabs came in, Greeks came in. It was a lot of, and he was like, oh, well, we can't. I go, you're lying though. Yeah. You're lying about Egypt.
He kicked you out of class.
He hated me. I just had every right to say, but that's not the truth.
Right.
Africa's not the Middle East. It's North Africa.
Right.
It's Middle East is just, there's really no Middle East. Where's the Middle South? Where's the Middle North? Because if you look at Israel and all that, it's still connected to the landmass of Africa. Look at it. Mm-hmm. There's a point you can stand there, and it's still Africa. Of course, you had the continental drift, right, but it's still Africa. It's just a way to divide because you don't have anything to do with Africa. But all this accomplishment in Egypt, you want to claim it. Right. Because black people couldn't have possibly done that. And then my friends that say, oh, we did it. Like I said, but you're not the right complexion to say you did it in that heat. You couldn't have handled that.
Right.
How?
Yeah, you would have had sunburn.
You would have been skin cancer. You couldn't have. And then they say aliens built the pyramids. Now we're aliens now. Now it's aliens, but everything in Ireland, no aliens came over there.
Right.
Stonehenge in England, no aliens. But in Africa, where everything's still standing,
right, because
you'd be in Greece, it'd be two rocks. They'd be like, this is where they studied. That's the school where they studied, and that was the proscenium. It's like that, but that's a brick. Yeah, that's where it was. The university.
Have you been to the pyramids?
Yes, I've been to the pyramids. Giza. I went to all. It's unreal.
It is unreal. I literally had this experience where it was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't. But first off, they were smaller back then for sure because I couldn't fit through the.
They were tiny. That was scary. That was real claustrophobic.
But then once you get inside and you're like, oh my goodness, like this is the stuff that I've been reading about, like how. And I promise, I must have stood outside the Pyramid of Giza and I'm just looking and I'm going, how did they do this? How did the amount of math? I ain't the math dude. Don't come to me for math.
You're like me. I'm not the math dude.
I'm not the math guy. Like, why don't you get your PhD?
I can count my money. That's all I need.
Oh, man.
It's and I knew I had a friend, French chick. Her father was an architect and wrote a book on how they could have possibly done it. And he couldn't figure it out. He was a mathematician in French. And I say, these were black people that were just dope. They were just dope. They were black, and I don't want to hear that. But then they discover in England, they said, we are going to go and discover the oldest living person. He's a black dude. Did you know that? Have you heard of the Cheeseboro Man?
I did not know
The Cheeseboro Man is a black fossil they found, and the British people like, no, bullshit. No, it's a black dude. We were here before you. You don't think we walked around? You don't think we're like, hey, man, let's go over there? I don't think they sounded like that. But
that sounded more like Eddie Murphy.
Everybody sounded like Eddie Murphy, the first people on the earth. They say, hey, man, we humans, man. We the first, man. What you gonna do? I don't know. Why don't we travel over there, man? Establish something. Cool. But, it's like they just discovered, this Chinese geneticist just discovered, and you can see the video. He goes, well, in all my studies, I've realized that Asian people come from Africa. We've been telling you that. But, it's us saying it. He goes, and Asians come from the Xhosa. You know the Xhosa? That's an X. That's an X when they go, that's an X.
That's down South Africa.
So they look like black Chinese people. Yeah. They discovered They say we are from this southern. Yeah, did you see what Mandela looked like? He looked like a Chinese black man.
Let's watch this video.
Ishowspeed is doing in Africa is not just travel content. It's not just entertainment. It's not just a streamer having fun. It is exposure. Western media worked overtime to make Africa look like one thing, and we're broken, dangerous, backward, underdeveloped, starving, hopeless.
The social media has shown only one part of Africa. Africa is not backwardness. Africa is not what they told you. Through Ishowspeed live stream, millions of Africans and people around the world are finally seeing the truth. Thank you, Ishowspeed, for showing the real African. The world is finally watching with their open eyes. Seeing our joy, energy, our hospitality, our dreams. Thank you, Ishowspeed.
Ishowspeed is single-handedly changing the way the whole world looks at Africa, man. Every time the media shows Africa on the TV, they show some skinny kid on the streets dying for some food to eat, man. 20 flies flapping around the eyeballs, but Ishowspeed is showing Africa in a positive light, man. And people, yo, look at this, man.
In the chat, bro. This is beautiful, bro. Holy crap, bro. Ethiopia is so beautiful. Holy... Yo, y'all see this shit?
Hey, yo, listen, look at that, bro. When the media shows Africa, they literally show Africa as though, you know, they've got no pavement, there's no cars, everyone's dying just for a little glass of water, man. Please donate £2 a day to save Baba Tunde. It's crazy.
The narrative is dead. The narrative is dead and over with. The way people perceive or used to think of how Africa is no more. All because of one guy. All because of this one guy. And for so long we've been saying that, hey, the way you think Africa is, it's far better than what you think. Yes, there are places in Africa that's still village-wise. It's called village. And those are people who are comfortable with certain way of living. And while there are some who are definitely not comfortable with the way of life, and they do need help. But to think that all of Africa is just jungle and safari, that narrative has been debunked. So, Speed is in Africa showing that Africa is more than what you guys believe it is. I have the opportunity to meet and speak with some people from Africa. I met and speak with a lot of people from Haiti. I met a lot of people from Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Kenya. And I met so much people from Nigeria as well. And they show me cities that take my breath away, to say the least. And I've taken the chance as well to went and Google certain places city-wise and village-wise. And you need to understand village life in Africa versus city life in Africa. Everywhere have its poor. Everywhere have its hardship. Everywhere have its crime and violence. But the narrative to say that all of Africa was sand, mud huts, and dirt, I guess a lot of y'all are feeling pretty stupid right now. A lot of y'all are feeling very insulted right now. A lot of y'all are in astonishment right now to know that Africa is way more than what you had thought it was, than what the TV had tell you it was, than what media had portrayed, than what the government wanted you to believe of different country about Africa. Africa is one of the most free-spirited countries in the world. In the free-spirited continent. Don't come for me. Continent. I'm sorry. Continent. And it's just like the USA with a lot of sub-countries. The only difference is that in the States they call it, in the US they call it states, but in Africa they call it countries. Africa, Caribbean, free-spirited. And if you can, you know what? I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let you figure that one out for yourself. But just know, the narrative about Africa is...
It's just, so Ishowspeed It's changing the narrative about Africa, right? In my humble opinion, YouTubers like this, when they go to different parts of the world where Western media is portraying it as being poor or desolate or people shouldn't go visit, when people that have a lot of influence like Ishowspeed go to places like this and kind of unravel that propaganda, that's when you begin to kind of really understand why the Western media doesn't want you to come to these countries, these places in the world, because they're going to find out that it's not only cleaner than the Western world, they have way better coffee, they have typically safer cities, nicer people, higher quality food, and sometimes more technologically advanced than the US. This is why they don't want you going to China. This is why they don't want you going to Africa, like any country in Africa. They really don't want you going to Africa, and this is why. This is why I love this. He's destroying decades and if not hundreds of years of propaganda negatively about the continent of Africa. He's undoing that with each stream because Ethiopia is one of the only countries within Africa that has not been colonized by Europeans. So this is just showing the raw culture of Ethiopia.
Welcome back, family. This is African Arrow, the voice of the world, where I conquer Winka. We tell you the truth they don't want you to hear. Now, family, first of all, I would like to give thanks to Ishowspeed, a just 20 years old boy, a live streamer, has decided to collapse the narrative about Africa. He decided to expose the truth about how Africa it looks like. And it has proved most of the people that the Africa they were thinking is not the one.
The hell is Ishowspeed when he's at home? First and foremost, he's not just another Gen Z streamer. He's one of the biggest in the world. Millions of fans, billions of views. And right now he's touring multiple countries across Africa after literally just discovering his African roots. And honestly, in one live stream tour, he's arguably done more for Africa's image and narrative than most tourism boards have done in decades. And in my opinion, he did it right. No savior complex. I mean, he probably helped a few orphanages, but not on camera. No flexing, no throwing dollars or rooftop tours to prove that new Africa's civilized. He did what I would do, right? Vibe with locals, ate local food, and he said it tasted great, by the way. And he danced in the streets, laughed with strangers, and learned in real time with millions watching. He didn't place himself above the culture. He immersed himself and placed himself inside it. And you guys, you know that's rare. A Western figure engaging with Africa without extraction, pity, or ego. He wasn't polarizing. He wasn't puffing his chest. He was grounded, curious, open. But the real headline wasn't even that as amazing as it is. The reaction.
So Speed is in Africa, and now I done seen people talking about, oh, the CIA and what the CIA was trying to do ain't working because he in Africa, and y'all see how the Africans is treating him. First of all, Speed is in Africa. Everywhere Speed goes, y'all acting like he's not an international stream star. He is. No matter which way you want to turn the key, y'all want to act like he's not a real celebrity. These young people know exactly who Speed is. Older people, I've seen older Scottish women saying, oh my God, Speed, Speed, hugging him down, trying to get his attention, asking for an autograph. He is world renowned, okay? So just because he's in Africa, he's in Angola, to be specific, because y'all love the child only when it's convenient. Y'all want it to be this specific country, okay? He's in Angola, and everybody's showing him so much love. They're fawning all over him, running up to him. Oh my God, Speed, Speed, Speed. But they not talking about how they begging him down for money, though. Ain't nobody bringing that up. They out there begging him down for money. There's kids on the floor on their hands and knees begging him down for money. I've seen Africans in Europe begging Black Americans down for money. I've seen video footage of this. So I just want to say this, right? I'm not sitting up here saying that Africans on the continent do not like or do not look up to Black Americans, because a lot of them do. They always have. We're talking about the ones, especially the ones that come here and then they have this weird secret competition that they have going on with us. They think they're better. They work harder. And they're just so much smarter and all of these other things. Those are usually the ones that's popping it the most. They pop it the most in the comment sections. They pop it the most, you know, on the internet. They pop it the most on the podcast. They pop it, pop it, pop it. They pop it and they be EBA, bitch. Everywhere but Africa. And they be popping it. The ones in Africa, majority of them are trying to get out of their countries And when they see an American, they see somebody that and Speed is rich and famous. Y'all act like Speed is out there as a regular, just a regular everyday commoner trying to blend in with the village folk. Ain't got no money, ain't got nothing to offer. Child, they would treat him like a piece of trash, okay? They would treat him how they treat each other. They would treat him how they treated somebody from another tribe, okay? It's very dog eat dog based off of what I've seen, what I've heard, and just what the hell is actually going on. He's rich and famous. So y'all saying that he is the pinnacle and now, oh, look at how they treat Speed. He's a celebrity out there to them. You think if Beyonce went to Africa, they would tell her to get out of here and try to steal her land? And no. They would beg her down for money if she was walking through the streets just like they did Speed. Y'all gotta stop this because at the end of the day, like I said, majority of Africans on the continent, we see videos of them emulating and imitating Black American culture day in and day out. It's the ones that made it out. The ones that's a part of like, how much percent, the top percent of them, I guess, that actually make it out. Those are the ones that think that they're above and like just better than everybody. Those be the ones that got a decent Wi-Fi because they not actually in Africa and they got. Anyways, y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Bye, y'all. Spread love, Mr. Brooklyn Wayne.
Africans really did not know that us Americans was over here talking about some, you better eat that food because kids in Africa would love to eat that food. Whole time they never knew that we were saying it. And the whole time they got food healthier than ours. God damn it. We ain't need no shit.
I want to talk about the impact of what Speed is doing and what he has done. I remember growing up in Africa and I had Black American like cousins and they would come visit in Africa. And when they would come, it was like they were like celebrities because they were from America. And I also went to school with kids who were Black Americans in Africa. And when these kids who were Black Americans were at my school in Africa, it was very interesting how we treated them. We were like, oh my God, they're Black American. Like, they were celebrities to us. So to just see the impact of Speed changing the negative narrative that Western media, white American media, the propaganda that white media has fed so many Black Americans about Africa being poor, Africa being, all Africans live in the jungle and all this other bullshit. Like, to see how Speed has shown the beauty of Mama Africa, it makes me so proud. And you can see that he is so happy to be there. He feels at home. Like he said, it changed his life. Like this African tour has changed his life. And Africans, we embrace Black Americans. We love y'all. But there's also been negative propaganda fed to Africans. Like in Africa, we're taught that Black Americans are gangsters, they're hood, they're all like these negative stereotypes. And it's like, unless you come to America and see for yourself and being community, being in relationships with Black Americans, you get to have a different experience. You get to see a different side of Black Americans, that a beautiful side that isn't usually portrayed in media. So thank you so much, Speed, for using your influence of millions and millions of followers to highlight Africa in such a beautiful, beautiful light. The ancestors are definitely moving through you. And you're only 21 years old. My God, like, y'all, something is shifting, and Western media, white propaganda cannot work anymore. The lies that white America, white Western countries have tried to feed Black people, that shit is not working anymore. Africa is a beautiful place. Africa is resourceful. Africa is the second largest continent in the world. That is how powerful and beautiful Africa is. And I am so happy with how, Speed, you highlighted the continent. You highlighted my country as well, like Zambia. So thank you for that. Thank you for just the beauty of you showing how beautiful Africa is. And I am so grateful that you went to go see it for yourself. And I know that this is going to ignite more other Black Americans and Black people in the diaspora to go to Africa, to go home, go visit home. It is home. Yeah, so thank you. We really are in a Black Renaissance, y'all. A new Black Renaissance, and Speed is part of that. So thanks. Bye.
Ishowspeed has concluded his tour of Africa, and he went to one of the places that I want to be. I want to see the Himba people, because I just think that this tribe is just so incredible. And he went and he painted his body with what we in Kenya call the riga. and they paint their skin so they're like dark maroon color. And I know my tribe, the Agikoyo people, used to do it. And Ishowspeed has concluded this tour. But the thing that has come out of this tour for us Africans is just how shocked, especially Black Americans, are at how Africa is. Can I tell you now, if there's any Americans who are watching, like as a child, we even had solar panels, you know? Solar panels as a child, we had them in Africa. Yeah. And literally how many years ago, like for over 30 years or something like that, Kenya has been like using like contactless payments. We did away with the banking system using M-Pesa. Like, we were, I would say, with a great deal of confidence, amongst the first countries in the world to use mobile money. Like for over 30 years, we've been using it. And now they're thinking, oh my God, you guys don't all live in mud huts. Like you have roads and everything. Like where have you been? Our African lives are more progressive than many in America. And you wouldn't believe this. Like I have traveled in America and like the homelessness in America, the sheer desperation in America is just on another level. And I have traveled and lived in Africa, and I have gone even to villages, and even where people don't have very much, they have way more hope, way more determination than majority of people in America, believe me.
Okay, first of all, I have a question. How those people are thinking Africa looks like? They were thinking that we were using, how do we call, horns to communicate, a messenger. Were they thinking that we are using to at least burn something for the smoke to see that, so that we can see that there's something going on somewhere, or we call a meeting? Is that the way they were thinking Africa was? They were thinking Africa can't afford cars, Africa can't afford the big buildings. How are they thinking Africa looks like? They were thinking all the places in Africa were slums, but now the truth has been exposed. Africa is a developed country. The narrative has been collapsed. And now, this is not the Africa they were thinking. This is not the black people they were thinking. The way they were thinking black people are living is not the way now they live. The technology has been improved. So now, can you imagine? Okay, we can say that, yes, they were thinking that most of the African people, they live in poverty. Most of the African people, they are poor. But without knowing, those materials that we are using to create their big empires were coming from Africa. Without knowing that the black skin was most used as slaves to build those countries. They forgot that, and now they're the one who says that Africa looks like. Most of the African people live in poverty. Most of the African people, they are poor. And that's ironical to them. Ishowspeed proved them that Africa is a developed country. Most of the people now in Africa, they depend on themselves. They work hard to make at least their country develop. Africa is no longer the Africa they were thinking. Africa now has been improved. Africa now have everything. But there's something that comes into my mind. These people, it's not that they fear black people. It's not that they fear Africa, but they do respect the black people. Because if they didn't respect them, there would be their countries will no longer be the place they are now. Because the black skin was most used to create, to make development in their countries. This is African Arrow, the voice of the world. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment for more, and more what's happening in the world.